All right. Well, hello, denizens of the internet. Yep. We're doing it again. We're doing it live. Fuck it. Let's do it live. And I want to tell y'all a story. And today's story, I think a good story for today would be the story of my first date and how I got that date. All right, here it goes. So, picture it. It's 1997. Yes, 1997, San Diego. I'm working at the Edwards Mira Mesa 7, which is now a Vinhome Vietnamese grocery store. But at that time, it was a theater of 7 theaters, and I was a young 16-year-old boy, closing on a weeknight. Side note, I remember I had to always go straight home. One time I even got stopped by a cop. I was like, "What are you doing? You're out past curfew." I've thought about curfew in a long time. Is curfew still a thing? Jesus. Anyway, I digress. I'm sitting there cleaning the theaters with my workmates. There's maybe 10 people in the theater at this point watching various movies. And at the time, I remember, I think Titanic was playing. Gosh, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? Anyway, I am emptying trash from one of the theaters that's down the hall. So one part of the theater had the main one on the left and the concessions up front, and then a hallway with all the other smaller theaters off that. And then there was a handicapped bathroom right in the middle, right at the beginning of all that. Now, the regular restrooms were upstairs, so we often had just non-handicapped people using the handicapped restroom, especially at night when there wasn't a lot of people in the theater. And I am taking a trash can from, I think, Theater 6. And I'm a spaz, and I'm hyper, and I'm running, and so I'm running with this trash can at a pretty decent clip. I'm not sprinting by any means, but I'm definitely more than a jog. I'm at a run, a solid run. And right when I'm getting I'm about to pass, I'm coming up on the handicapped bathroom, and this girl walks out, and I straight plow her over with the trash can. I mean, she goes flying. Boom, full down. I go flying, trash can goes flying, trash falls out of the trash. It's crazy town. Immediately the first thought in my mind is, oh my God, I'm so fired. And I'm 16, so I'm super nervous, and I'm just like, oh my God. And then I look over, and honestly, she was absolutely stunning. Just gorgeous. And I look over and I'm like, I am so sorry. Oh my God. Please let me help you up. I help her up. She brushes it off like it's no big deal. Kind of laughs a little. Very graceful. It's okay. And then walks, to her theater. And she said something to the fact I shouldn't have been in the handicapped restroom. I was like, this is not your fault. This is completely my fault. But yeah. I go back to cleaning theaters, and I go tell my homies, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this just happened. You think I'm gonna get fired? Well, and of course they're messing with me. And then we're cleaning theaters, and we kind of changed the subject. This is what's hilarious. At the time, South Park was brand new. I think it was on its first season or second season, maybe. And we're all talking about it, and so we're talking about the show, and I'm imitating Cartman. I forget what specifically, but just whatever he was saying in the show. And then this lady comes by, and she pokes her head in, and she's like, which one of you is doing the Cartman impersonation? And I was like, that was me. She's like, that was pretty good. And she's like, you ran over my daughter with a trash can. And I was like, yes. I'm so sorry. And she goes, she thinks you're cute. And I was like, I didn't know what to do. Preface this with, I have 0 game. I've never had game. It's just, it's unfortunate. But my coworkers and friends are like, giving me crap. Like, she thinks you're cute. You gotta give her your number. Go give her your number. Now, specifically my pager number. Yeah, that's right. Like I said, this is like 1997, I believe. I had a pager. And I remember thinking, I need this so bad. I want it. It's so cool. It's like, I'm a geek when it comes to technology. I've loved like gadgets, so I was super stoked about pagers. My dad had one. I just thought it was like so cool. He had it for work, obviously. And this was, of course, the 90s, so like clear packaging, or not packaging, but like, what are those words I'm trying to find here? Like the clear Game Boy? It was a clear one. I had a clear pager. You could see all the electronics inside it. I thought it was so cool. It ended up being the dumbest thing that I ever did, because I basically begged my dad to buy a tracking device, and he used it. And it's kind of funny. I guess it's not a tracking device, it's just a paging device, but he would page me with, the phone number to call back and who it's from, right? So it'd be his number and then 411, which, he wanted to know, what am I doing? Where am I at? There it is. And then if I didn't get back to him, and this is, mind you, like, there were no cell phones. I mean, there were, but nobody had them. You'd have to go to a payphone and call, be like, what's up? And for me, I had to find a payphone, call my dad, and be like, hey, I'm just hanging out with my friend Ivan. We're at the mall. Yeah, whatever. I was a pretty good kid, so it's not like he had super cause to worry, at least not at that time. Later, there would be. Anyway, I'm digressing. I gave her my pager number. And to do so, they like badgered me. They're like, go ahead, go give her your pager number. And like, so I was like, all right, fine. So I wrote it down, and I walked into the theater, in the movie they were watching, and of course, it was only her mom, and her dad in the theater, so I was like, great. So I, like an idiot, I went and sat down, like a couple rows up and to the left, and pretend like I was just gonna watch like some of this movie. God, so dumb. And then I was like gonna leave, and I got up to leave, and my coworkers wouldn't let me out. And so I was like, oh, all right, I have to do it. So I walked up real quick behind her, and I tapped her on the shoulder, and I leaned over and I handed her my, hey, this is my pager number. Give me a call sometime. And then I left, and they were like, oh, well, she paged me that night. This is how dumb I am. I had no idea that it was her, and I'm like, yeah, hello, who's paging me? And it was her. And I was like, oh my gosh, and we started talking, and then I invited her out for a date. This is the first time. I was like, would you like to go on a date? She's like, yeah, what do you want to do? I was like, we could see a movie. Very original, very original. So we did. We went and saw a movie. Now, I'm not kidding. Like, this girl, I was 16 or 17, and she was 16. And she looked like Jenny McCarthy. I'm not even kidding you. Like, she could have been a doppelganger for her. Like, same face, eyes, hair, body. She was gorgeous. And completely out of my league. Like, 1,000%. Honestly, I think she probably just wanted to watch a free movie. So I went and I picked her up, and I took her to go see Mulan, the cartoon, right? Very mild. We watched it, we got some popcorn and stuff. I took her home, I dropped her off, no big deal. I had met her parents, and they were nice. I was like, you want to go out again sometime? She's like, yeah. Well, when I told my stepmom and my dad how the date went, my stepmom was like, well, did you kiss her goodnight? And I was like, no. And she's like, what? She's like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I don't know. I just didn't think that was like, I don't know. Plus, I had no idea how to go about doing that. Do I ask? Do I, like, you know what I mean? Like, I have no game. And I'm 16, so I'm really dumb. I have zero. I have, like, negative game at this point. Anyway, I asked her out on another date. Yeah, fuck you, cunt. You saw that. That was a little road rage for you. Anyway, probably shouldn't be dropping C-bombs. Anyway, this story sucks. I gotta get better at this. I asked her out for a second date. My stepmom says, listen, it's not a date unless you kiss her goodnight. So you gotta kiss her goodnight. So I was like, all right, fine. How do I do that? I took her bowling with my coworkers. I dropped her off. I got out of the car and I walked her to the door and I gave her a hug, and then I pulled back and I had my hands on her waist and I was freaking out. And I was like, so my stepmom said it's not a date unless I give you a goodnight kiss. And so I leaned in, and because I was so sure she was gonna, like, you know, pull back or be like, that I went in for a peck and quickly started moving, and right when my lips made contact, her tongue started coming to my mouth, but I was already pulling away, and then I tried to come back for it, and she was like, oh no. It was just this super awkward, like, terrible thing. Needless to say, she never answered me back, and I never saw Cassie Chumley again. And that was the story of my first and second date. Total disasters. I guess not total disasters, but I was mortified. And I had one person during this live stream join me this time. It's a little sad, a little upset. I'm gonna leave this one up. I didn't get too crazy or political, although I did get a little bit of road rage and dropped the C word on a lady. But she was being aggressive with her Mercedes. You couldn't see it, unfortunately. Now I'm just babbling and rambling, filling the air with the sound of my voice. Just waiting for someone to jump in and say, listen, Duke, shut the hell up and get off. But no one's doing that. I wonder if there's people watching that it doesn't tell me if they're watching. Like, if you have an ad blocker or something, can you watch and not be seen? I might have to experiment with this. Alright, denizens of the internet. That's all for now.